watching another interesting episode of High Winds. We're at Cinnamon Grand Colombo to witness the Sri Lanka Tourism brand launch. The key highlights of this event focuses on diversity and authenticity of our very own nation, Sri Lanka. This campaign is very strong as it focuses on the theme, "You'll come back for more." So let's go inside and have a look. I have Honorable Minister Harin Fernanda with me. After COVID, there was a decline in the tourism, and what strategies have been implemented to reboost our tourism industry?
I think numbers prove themselves. I think we've done something right. Initially, it was a bit of a challenge getting Sri Lanka to say that we are normal and people to come back. So that was the biggest factor for us to venture into. But right now, we are quite happy to see a lot of numbers are coming in, a lot of interest around Sri Lanka again. But what we did right was we went for the regional tourism first. We went to India mostly. We got the numbers picking up. Then our traditional markets still kept coming in. So I think the promotional campaign is just starting. So it's after 15 years we have a proper campaign that we are presenting out. So quite excited to see how it will turn out.
I have Mr. Chalaka Gajabahu with me. So Mr. Chalaka, what was the main reason you all came up with a rebranding strategy?
The main reason is we've never had a brand strategy for a very long time, over 2 decades. It's a much-awaited campaign that the whole industry and the whole country has been waiting for. It's a purpose of creating the Sri Lankan brand footprint for the biggest brand in Sri Lanka. What is the biggest brand in Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka. So that's what we are going to launch today.
And also the theme being, "You'll come back for more." That's a very powerful theme, or rather a tagline. So what was the reason you all came up with such a tagline for Sri Lanka?
Well, tagline does not define a campaign. You have to see the campaign to believe in the tagline. Like, for example, Incredible India, Truly Malaysia, there was a 360-degree strategy behind it. With that strategy, we went ahead with this tagline because there you will see it in a little while how we are going to launch it, the purpose of doing it. Because Sri Lanka is an all-in-one capsule where we have adventure, romance, wellness, history, culture, you name it, we have everything. Only thing we don't have is the snow. That's my one-line brief to the agency. We are an all-in-one capsule minus the snow. Hence, you'll come back for more. You'll see when we reveal it today how the strategy will work, how we are going to take this country forward in a very positive manner. And this time we have a 10-year brand footprint. We are not going to change every 2 years or when a minister change or a government change. So we are going to create that footprint that we are going to keep this footprint for a very long time.
So the next step, you said it's a 10-year long plan. So, but in the next 5 years, where do we see Sri Lanka tourism?
Well, like I said, we need to create that brand footprint, and I believe that we can do that brand footprint along with the Honorable Minister, who was a very young man who has a vision as well, vision and a mission, as you know. So we will, example, like I said, whether it's adventure can be broken into so many categories, subcategories. Romance can be broken into so many categories. Wellness can be broken into so many categories. So first, you launch the main DNA of the brand, and then you come down for the subcategories, and that's how we're going to take it. And as you know, we have a target of 5 million tourists by 2030. That's not an easy task. So we are not going to say something like we are going to achieve 5 million next year. So next year's target is 2.3 million, which was our pre-COVID number, which was 2.3 million into 2018. So hopefully the way we are going to end up with 1.5 million, which was our target. And don't forget, we are making a huge comeback. Unlike other countries like COVID, we had a black mark in terms of media and social media of what happened last year. So we are not bringing goods into this country. We are bringing humans and people. So change their mind is not easy. This campaign is based in 3 stages. The first stage is to say that Sri Lanka is ready, and these 22 million warm hearts and warm people are ready to welcome them.
It honestly gives me great pleasure to welcome you all, to see us launching Sri Lanka as a brand campaign to take it around the world after 15 years. Sri Lanka have done so well on its own, thanks to the industry who have actually spearheaded all the campaigns on their own. But I think Sri Lanka Tourism, for once, have got a beautiful campaign. One brief that we gave was 33% of our travelers are repeaters. I think that was one of the biggest trigger points for us to say you'll come back for more?
We were given the responsibility of developing a marketing communications campaign to revive tourism in Sri Lanka by promoting Sri Lanka as a must-visit destination. Now, this task had two sides to it. One side was, how do we arrest the negative publicity and bring back the tourists who have been loyally coming to Sri Lanka? And the other side is, how do we attract more new tourists to consider Sri Lanka? We immediately wanted to develop a campaign which we call the check-in campaign, to say that Sri Lanka is safe and ready to welcome you once again. There is no crisis in the country. You can, without any fear, go from the north to the south, to the east, to the west. And this campaign we developed as an interim digital campaign focusing on bringing back the tourists who have been coming year after year.
I have Andrew with me. So, Andrew, before we start off with our interview, what are the most favorite destinations you have traveled to in Sri Lanka?
Well, actually, the campaign really struck me because they did say that people came here to see the sun, surf, and the sea, and of course that was the first place that I went to. But I have to say, after exploring the Under a little bit more, my favourite place is probably up country in the mountains. I love it. I love that up there, not just because of the climate, but because it's very diverse in terms of kind of the cultures and the landscapes that you come across as well. So I think that has to be my favourite.
In your perspective, how can the Sri Lanka tourism boost back? I mean, we do have a strong campaign, but in your perspective, how do you foresee it?
I mean, personally, I think that actually the more time, the more tourists that come here and the more time that elapses where people have positive experiences, I think that word is going to spread. Already we've seen tourism numbers picking up quite a lot, and I think, you know, with each of those tourists that go home to their home countries and tell their friends and relatives and others about what a great experience they've had, I think that's actually the best way of boosting tourism numbers, and of course that'll be reinforced by the campaign.
Mr. Damiano with me. So how do you see the tourism of Sri Lanka in the next 5 years boosting up?
We have seen this very impressive presentation of the Sri Lanka Tourism brand here tonight. I'm sure that there is a brilliant future ahead. This country is not just about sea and sand and beaches, it's much more than that. You have cultural heritage, you have wildlife, you have 22 million of warm hearts, and that's something which is really be the fortune of Sri Lanka in the next years.
And that brings us to a closing note on today's event. Stay tuned on our next episode of Hi Events.